Are you aware that 80% of the business close within 5 years of our coaching? Do you feel that you are in the right market? Good afternoon. I'm Praveen, your entrepreneur clarity coach. Welcome back to FB Live, the action plan. Today, we are going to talk about an interesting topic of USP, unique selling point. For this, I am glad to have our Grenville, my longtime friend and business planning coach. He helps entrepreneurs to make profits through his integrated business planning. Hello, Grenville. How are you? Welcome back to FP Live.
Thanks, Praveen. I'm great. How was your week last week? How did you do?
Week was good. It was good. Good business things happening.
Awesome. Let's make it up this week.
Yeah, sure, Grenville. So, Grenville, what do you mean by USP, and how do you feel it is important?
Okay, as you said at the start, USP is, as it says, unique selling point. Okay, it is something that differentiates you from your competition. It's as simple as that. So you need to look at what is special about you that the customer is going to come to you rather than go to the competition and do business with. That's all USP is.
Okay. How do you feel it is important and how critical is for a business plan?
Okay, see, I think USP is paramount in your business plan as well as in your overall management of your business, because that is what is going to keep coming back and going to make the customers come back to you regularly to come and do business with you on an ongoing basis. This is what is the part that is going to carry you all the way. So you need to keep this in mind that when I am creating a business, what is the USP that I am trying to sell to the customer? What am I trying to leverage? Okay, for example, if you are a very outstanding person that everybody knows you are the USP for your organization. Okay, if you have a product that is like hot selling cake, that is the USP of your organization. So you need to find out what is that special thing about you or your product or your organization or anything. It could be just relationship that people know you. Okay, that is what will make your customers keep on returning back to you and doing business with you. That is what we call as USP, and that is what every business that has been successful runs on a specific USP for their own business.
Okay, perfect. Uh, how should we differentiate a USP in our business? Like how you said that I could also be a USP point, but how do you find a USP with respect to the market and with respect to the competition?
Yeah, Praveen, see, you worked with me on writing a business plan, so you know how this goes, right? Right from the name of your organization, at every step of the way, you need to keep in mind is this unique? I'm naming my company. Is this company uniqueness going to be the factor that is going to make the customers buy product or do business with me? Okay, but I'm locating it. Is that a USP that I am very close to my customer? So he prefers to walk down the street or walk out of his shop, of his house, and buy the product from me. Okay, so each step of the business plan, as you go into the details of every component, you have to keep looking at, is price my USP? Is my product my USP? Is my location my USP? Okay, is what message I give to my customer my USP? So every aspect of the business plan, when you're in, that is what we do when we go. We always ask the question, is this something unique? It doesn't,
Okay.
everything that you have in your business does not have to be unique, right? Like if you're making a washing soap is a washing soap, right? It's nothing unique about it. But in that, you need to find out what aspect of this business that you're going to get into is going to make this washing soap that outstanding that people are going to come and buy from you.
Okay.
So that's how you go about trying and identifying the uniqueness of a certain aspect of your business and converting that into the front part of what you're going to project to your customer. Saying, come to me, this is what I give you. This is my uniqueness. Come to me and do business with me. That's what will make you stand out and make your business succeed.
So you mean to say that the USP would be the main selling point for any product and such?
The main selling point for any business itself, not just a product.
Okay, sorry.
The unique selling point is going to be for that product for sure. If it's a product that is a USP, yes, you're right, the product is a USP. But if you are doing this as a business itself and the business is identified by the product, then that becomes your USP, right? So you need to keep in mind, what are you actually projecting as your USP? And that is what will keep you going forward and keep you, as I said, keep the customers coming back to you all the time through your relationship and keep your company growing.
So you mean to say that now if I have my product branding or my company branding, the USP should be reflecting in my company branding, right?
Absolutely. Our brand management should revolve around your USP. It doesn't have to say it in identical words, what the USP is, but it should imply it, or it should communicate the USP in every aspect of your brand promotion. Okay, let's take an example. Do you remember the Amul ad?
Yes.
Butterly delicious, right? That was a tagline they had at the bottom. So whenever you saw an Amul ad, you'll notice that either their hands will be with butter or their mouth will have butter. You'll have butter somewhere to show that utterly butterly deliciousness will be in every aspect of their whole business, whether it's on the cover of their product, in the ads they promote. Even the tagline has got that utterly butterly delicious ad that makes you always relate the butterliness to Amul. Now, Amul makes cheese, Amul makes other milk products, they make so many things. But the thing that strikes you always is Amul butter only, correct? So you take one product that really stands out, that really relates to the customer, and project it along all your other product lines. That's how you promote your organization and make your organization grow and diversify, of course.
That's amazing, Grenville. That gives a lot of Amul example gives a lot of clarity to us, saying that what is a USB and how to use it in the branding as such. Grenville, one question is that can a price be a USP point?
It's not advisable, but yes, a competitive price is an expectation, right? Every customer expects to get a competitive price. But if your price itself is your unique selling point, the day a competition comes with a cheaper price, your business is gone, right? So it can be, I'm not saying, see, for example, look at Apple. Okay, their price is signifying that they're a premium brand. No? So that is being used in a positive way. I mean, they're actually making the customer pay more. But their brand is demanding that pricing, and they are using that saying, I am different from others. You come at 2 o'clock in the morning and you queue up outside my showroom and buy my product at a premium price. Okay, and the best part is not about just buying the product. Even when you resell it again, you make a premium on the resale too. So the brand retention value also is there for the Apple brand. So that's how they have taken their brand and use the pricing to signify that they are premium. So yes, you can use price, but I tell you, there are not a lot of Apples out there or other premier brands like the other, I forget the name of the company, the Swarovski Crystal
Swarovski, yeah.
They charge you $1 million for a $10,000 mobile phone, right? So you can use that in certain ways, but I think it will be a brand driving the pricing than the pricing driving a brand. So I would not ever say that, or not say that you cannot use price, but preferably not.
There's one more confusion normally which happens is that when you say USP and a unique feature of a product, people get confused between what is a unique feature and a USP on that. Can you give a clarity on how we should differentiate?
Okay, see, a unique feature is something that is, again, a niche product. Okay, let's call it like that. Your product could be a niche product, but that does not have to be your USP, or that may not be your USP. It could be. Okay, but the point is about how do you project that uniqueness to the customer, and will he pay you a premium, or will he pay you to come and buy your product continuously for that uniqueness? That is the question that you're asking yourself when you say this is my USP, right? Again, USP does not mean one specific aspect. It's about how do you convert your business into something that stands apart from the many businesses out there. Okay, that the customer, given a choice, this is one thing that one of my earlier colleagues told me. If your product was free, what will make your customer come and continuously buy from you?
Okay.
If you can answer this question, you will find your USP. Right?
Oh, okay. Because that's a very tricky question.
Yeah, because the point is that, okay, we are in it for selling and making money. But if I'm going to give my products for free, if everybody's giving the product for free, right? What will make the customer come to you and buy from you? Will define your USP. If you can take out the component of making money and making business of it, I want to just buy my product based on the merits of its uniqueness. That is your USP.
You mean to say the USB would be the main, what is it, a market tag or a remembrance point for the customer, so that even they have 10 products, they just choose on your product to come and have your product.
The point is that everything that you have as your USP gets carried over into all that you do. Okay, your culture, your tagline, your marketing strategies, your branding, okay, your office, your uniforms, the way people act, all this is what communicates your uniqueness, right? There is no one part. For example, if you're in the hospitality business and you have a rude manager, I mean, nobody's going to come and do business with you, right? So if your culture is properly aligned to your hospitality tagline, then your persons around the line should have been educated in the culture, saying that you need to be polite. You need to be hospitable to the customers. When you are doing that, that's when the customers will come and say, okay, I relate to this brand because this is the best hospitality brand that I can find out there, even though every other brand is an hospitality brand, right? So it's like that. So you have to live it. I say you have to walk the talk when it comes to USB. You have to take what you really, first of all, you need to believe in it, of course, right? For that, you really need to go deep down when you're doing the business planning process to identify it. And then you need to know how to convert it into a marketing strategy, how to utilize it in your branding, how to convert it into your product image. So every part of it, you need to say and relate and say, how am I going to use my USP here? And by the time you've done this exercise, you will figure out that maybe it's not your USP. So that's one good way of identifying, have we really got the right USB or not?
Okay. Okay. Grenville, if we find that our company has 2, 3 points, which could be a USB, so how do you, in what basis you would rate them to make it as a, is it a market driven or it's a personal driven? How do you say, like, let's take about a washing powder itself. In that, I find that my product gives a better cleaning process. I save water. I may have what to say, cheaper in cost or economical. So when these 3 points are still unique, so how we should find the, what to say, the significant unique selling point, or we can have all the 3 or 4 together.
Look, it's like this. Now, if nobody else is using cleanliness as a tag, then you found your USP, right? If nobody else is using water saving, then that is your USP, right? So the point here is that you can say this on your advertising, saying, I can save water, I can give you more softness. All this part you can say on your promotional material. It's not that you cannot. But the point here is that this is not the unique part of your soap, right? What is unique in your soap is what you need to find out. If a soap liquid is there, using less soap for usage alone may not be the USP. It could be. It depends on the audience you're trying to address this to. If that audience is only worried about, I want to buy 1 liter of soap and use 1 liter for the month. And that is what is my primary requirement. That is your USP, right?
Okay.
If that market is a market that only cares about having clean, they are totally worried about hygiene, then that's your USP. So again, it's a combination of what is unique in your product to your customer. I told you again, it's what's going to bring your customer back to you regularly and continue buying from you and buy more from you. That is what your USP is.
Yeah, yes. What we learned from you on this Amul, and what your friend said, if it is going to be free, and what is going to be the point which is going to sell. So maybe I think all the entrepreneurs should start thinking in those lines to see. The main thing is would be the tagline would be like, if I'm going to offer it for free, why the customer should come back to me, and if everybody else is offering free, why they should prefer me. So that's a very good, interesting, what to say, anecdote for us to find our USP on that. Well, any other significant points of how else the USP will help our businesses, like apart from branding, apart from significant, what to say, no, making a notice in the market. Apart from that, what other things will help, or USP will help our businesses?
See, I think with your branding and stuff, all the things fall in line with your USP, right? Your premium that you charge your customers will come based on what is your unique selling point, correct? You cannot charge a premium for what everybody is selling out there. You have to compete at the same price, right? You've been an entrepreneur, you know how it is, no? If you are selling a product that's equal to the market, you compete, you have a ferocious competition, and you are in that bracket of the market that is at that level for that range of customers who have a clear fixed objective on pricing and what they expect out of your service, right? So there is nothing unique about that you can go and say, I'm going to give you a lower price to come and buy from me. He may buy this time, but the next time he has a quote for you to give, he will expect you to drop the price further down because the competition will drop the price, right? People are always finding more effective ways to become cheaper, right? So when they are doing that, you would on a continuous basis have to keep doing this for yourself. So that's the reason I tell my customers, do not get so caught up with the economics of your product, because there's always going to be a cheaper producer out there. Okay.
Yes.
Any which way. So you will lose that competitive edge eventually on price. Okay. So your unique selling point, preferably, I'm saying if that is the one that it is, that has to signify your brand, yes, go with it. I'm not saying don't. But most of the cases, you will find that you are competing on a level ground when it comes to pricing in a very competitive environment, because that is very clearly defined. You're in this market that has this expectation, and price is always one of those expectations in any country, in any part of the world.
That is true.
So the point I always believe is that the USP is something that should tell you that, look, this is the reason why your customer will pay you more. This is the reason why you can put another factory, because you can sell so much more to the customers. They will come back and continue buying and increase their offtake from you. And this is what is the reason why they will do that. Okay, so again, I hope I'm not conveying the message this is a very complicated exercise. Actually, it isn't.
That is true.
Okay, it actually is a very simple exercise. The only part you have to do is that every stage in the business planning process, you keep in your mind is this my USP? If you keep asking yourself this question repeatedly all the way down, you will eventually hit on one which for sure carries across your whole planning process itself. And that itself will tell you, yes, I've seen this repeating itself at every stage in my planning process. So yes, this is going to be my USP, and that's what I'm going to use it.
Correct, Grenville. What you said is right. It needs to get evolved from the essence of business and your planning, so that you identify which would be the most most unique feature or unique point where customer can come and get you on.
You're right.
Grenville, what are the other things we need to apart from USB? What are the other things you feel that we need to look along with the tag along with the USB and such?
See, when you are, as I told you from the beginning, when you are talking about your USP, it is not what you feel is your USP should be the driver, because the mistake that a lot of people that I've seen do, excuse me, a lot of people do is that they always think that this is what I feel is good, so I'll go sell it to the customer. It's rather you identify, would the customer like to have this? Is the primary question you need to ask yourself at every stage of identifying your USP. Okay, that is what is going to make it a real unique thing. The reason, if you take the example of Apple, okay, what has got the imagination of the people is that they are innovative. They will put in the quality that comes in with an Apple product only when they have tested it out after all the other manufacturers have done it. They will be one of the last to bring in those features in. But when it comes in, it will be a stable feature integrated into all their environment and the environment they've created, so that you have that same feeling of using Apple the way it's supposed to be used, right? So that is the way that each brand takes the effort to make sure that they retain this uniqueness about themselves, right? So the question again, I told you again, is that you need to keep in mind that my customer is expecting this of me. Okay, he's expecting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, it's a need versus a want, right? He needs certain things. You have to give that. There's no question about it, because that is what is going to make him even come and buy from you in the first place. But what he wants is that edge, right? Is that extra bit that you're going to give him that is going to make the guy say, oh, wow, this is something that I'm not getting anywhere else. So I keep coming here to this person and doing it. Okay.
Yeah, that's a very interesting explanation, Grenville, to find the needs and wants. So when it goes for needs and wants, then the USP would also change with respect to region, the market, everything. So it cannot be the owner's choice. It is mostly the market driven.
For sure. that's the one point I keep telling my customers. Don't think that you know everything, because it's your customers that's going to decide what they want to take out of what you know. Right?
That's the normal confusion with most of the entrepreneurs, is like we feel that what we think is what market thinks, but in reality, there's some way it goes different on that. And your examples of Amol, your friends' thought on it, and the needs and wants, I think these are quite a very important aspects which we need to understand and try to find a USP for all the products what we are trying to make or for the company as such. What other thing you wanted to say on this USP? Anything which you feel that we have missed, or you wanted to add on any thoughts on this?
So see, I think when you're talking about your USP, you cannot be without talking about the niche. Okay. When you're identifying your USP, as you rightly said, it is going to differ based on the people you are trying to promote your product to. So it's the importance you give to the USP should equally be given to your audience who is going to be the ones you're addressing the USP to. So it's a two-way street. Okay. It's one is the audience that is there and the niche of those audience that you're trying to really talk to. I think we've done this exercise together. When we talk about who is your true customer in a house, it could be the wife, it could be the maid, it could be the husband, it could be the children. Okay, it could be even the person that is outside the house, the guard that's outside the house, who actually promotes these products to the customer and becomes the influencer in the decision making to buy. Right?
Okay.
When you're talking about your niche, you need to drill all the way down to the level saying that this is my true customer. The customer I'm trying to address is this customer. Some of the ads you see are focused on children, right? Now, the person who's going to buy is the parent, not the children. But it's tasty, it's chocolatey, they give you a free doll in it. I mean, it's all to make that child drive their parents crazy to go and buy the product. So they've clearly identified that this is my USP that I'm going to push. And this is my customer who's going to force the final person who's going to do the financing to actually go and buy my product. Okay, so that is what you have to keep in mind, is that a USP independent of the customer is going to be a failure, because you will come up with a very fancy and maybe a very real, true, unique part about your product. But if you've not clearly identified which part of the market you are actually going into, who is the actual customer that's actually going to buy your product, you are never going to be able to deliver the right USP out there. And you are never going to be able to keep that audience engaged to keep coming back to you to keep buying your product. That is the danger of having a USP in isolation and a niche identification in isolation. You should combine them in one activity, saying, I've started with my overall evaluation of what do I want to do? What is my mission, right? Who is my customer? Where are they located? What do they do? So you need to go into every aspect of the customer base, all the way down to the final person who actually uses that product or that service, right? And then take your USP and say, now this is my USP. Now, is this USP appealing to this guy, right? Like, if he does not like my USP, I mean, all the effort of all that I've done is a waste of time, correct? So again, the typical example is that if you're going to be a consultant like me, okay, the final user of my product is going to be the guy who's maybe in operation or maybe the owner of the company. But if the HR guy who I go and sit down with doesn't listen to me, I can't even go to the next level to the somebody else and talk to the owner, right? Somebody, now at a smaller level, yes, the owners are reachable, but a little higher, bigger organizations, it's very difficult to go to them. They will directly send you to another department to talk to them. So you need to clearly identify, is HR my customer? Is customer service my customer? Is logistics my customer? Is supply chain my customer? So you identify within that organization who is the actual customer who will see the value that you say your USP is bringing. And then use him to go to the decision makers and tell them, we should get this. This is what we need. This is what we've been missing. And this is the value. They will become your salesman for you.
Yeah.
You try to sell it to the final person who will actually invest in your product or service.
Yeah, Grenville, that was a wonderful explanation. Actually, you showed us how we should look at the micro elements rather than the macro. So what normally as an entrepreneur, what we see is that what is the market we are looking at, who is the principal buyers. But we generally tend to forget the influencers who are more critical to make the success of the sale very fast. That was good, Grenville. I think most of us, including me, have a lot of clarity on how to find our USP. And other thing which we understood is that USB is not one thing which is going to start be the same from the day one to the day two. It keeps on evolving, and you keep on evolving with respect to the market, with respect to the product, and with respect to how your company is growing to. I think that was a very good explanation about what is the importance of USB, how we need to use the USB, and how to find the USB. Any closing thoughts on USB?
Well, not on USB, but overall to entrepreneurs. As I said, every aspect of the planning process is equally important. So when you do go and get into a planning process, USB is one piece of a bigger puzzle, right? So anything in isolation is of no meaning. So don't take it out of context and say, okay, they talked about USB, so dump all the other things, focus on my USB, it's going to make my world. Okay, always keep in mind, everything is interconnected. USB has its own importance in the way it is to be used. So you need to use it for that purpose that it's meant to be. So we are covering different aspects of what makes a good business planning process, right? So keep this in perspective, saying for USB, these are the things you need to do. And this is the importance of this aspect of your business planning process. And make sure that you come up with a feasible, implementable business plan. That should be the end goal of your starting setup process before you go into implementation. That would be my advice to any entrepreneurs, that keep this in mind, that keep this whole process a very holistic process. And if you're not keeping the end goal of making money, which is what a business is meant to do, then all this is just a formality that you go through without the end goal in mind. Okay, so that's all. That's just my thoughts to make sure that we're keeping this in perspective of what are we trying to achieve with these sessions vis-a-vis the overall business planning process.
Yeah, Grenville, that was a good explanation about USB. And what I wanted to add to our viewers and friends is that please visit our channel, Coach Grenville, where we have sections which talks about the entrepreneurs, what are the things related to business planning, what are the essential things they want to know, financial aspects, and other interest points of interest also. Please follow us on YouTube as well as on Facebook, Coach Grenville. Over to you, Grenville.
Thank you. Thanks all of those that came on our live session and for those who are going to see the recorded video. And thank you, Praveen, for doing an excellent job today hosting this session. It was fun talking to you as usual, and it's a pleasure. So till next week, take care, stay safe.
Thank you. Bye.